Yo, Wagwan people, a beautiful Tuesday morning. Tuko hapa kama kawa ndani ya Daybreak. And if you know it's a Tuesday morning, you best believe tunakuja kuongelea vitu zinakuaffect in one way or the other. I'm still here holding it down for this man Willis Raburu. Bado yake pumzika. Na niko na mbogi yangu hapa. Wacha waji introduce so that we start this thing because it's an amazing thing. And I don't know why every time I have this panel, we tend to have a topic that is very controversial. But anyway, I shall tell you about it in a little while. In the meantime, Robertta.
The topic is always controversial.
Whenever I'm seated here.
And then now you can't give your opinions because you're steering the conversation. Najua una ban. But don't worry, we've got you.
Mambo.
Nico amazing. Nico very happy. Nico happy. When even
I can see glowing.
I feel really good. How are you?
Mimi niko poa sana nashukuru.
So happy to see you.
Sindio?
Na feeling ka tusiponana, the missing gets crazy.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Oh, okay.
So
that's it. That's it.
All right.
Yeah.
DJ Rev.
Yeah, man.
Wagwan. Uko fiti?
Niko fiti.
Kabisa.
Niko true.
Yeah. Amazing. Sasa topic ya leo, you always tend to show up when we're having these topics that affect DJs.
Why DJs?
Well, the DJs are part of the problem.
Problem or solution?
Oh, no, see, they are victims of it.
Oh, okay, we are victims, eh?
Yeah, man. Anyway, so guys, leo tunataka kuongelea kitu inaitwa DNA. Okay, in the recent past, amata the times we are living in right now, kuna cases mingi sana tunaona everywhere kwa mtandao that men are opting to do DNA tests for their children or alleged children, let me put it like that, because wengi wakienda wa test the results zinakuja very opposite ama zinakuja to the affirmation of what they were suspecting. So the question is, why is it that saa ndio wanaume wame find the need of doing DNA tests? So what we are calling it is dads need answers. Okay? DNA. Dads need answers. So I will start with you, DJ Rev. Why is there this sudden surge of this need and want for men to do DNA tests for their children?
One of the worst results you can ever fail, as in there could be opaqueness in that. in results as a DNA. As in, it is one of the saddest things that as a person you realize when you're very deep in life and you've grown your family for a long time that actually that child is not yours. You understand? And then now men increasingly are having to get DNA tests for their kids because there's a lot of deceit out there. People have realized they're raising kids that are not theirs. So in order for you actually to plan properly for your life and you plan as in adequately for your future, you have to ascertain that these kids are yours. Maze usifike 30 years, uko 54 years, maze no realize that you are raised back when maze form 4, they are not your kids. So where do you start from there? You understand? So that's why now increasingly men have decided now we have to do the DNA test now. Yeah. Well,
the kids might not be yours biologically, but if you brought up someone for 24 years, for 24 years you brought up someone, this is still your child. Just that biologically you've proven that this is not your child.
No.
That's your kid, man.
Bobby, why would you say ladies would knowingly tell you that this is your kid, but they deep down they know that this is not your kid?
There's so many reasons, and I think everyone could easily come up with their own reasons. But something I'm starting to realize is that human beings literally, like hakunanga formula, we do whatever we want at whatever time. And the only thing that we can keep doing for ourselves is growing and becoming better people so that our decisions are more informed. So by the time someone is lying to you that a kid is yours, you can see the mental state they're in, you can see the level they're at in their growth. You can see the kind of person they are. Because someone who's just grown, intentional, kind, respectful, loving, honest, that's not something that could come very easily to them. Actually, if you talked about it, they'd be like, what? someone lied about their kid. But right now, there's a need for maybe security, financial stability. Maybe tu ataki umwache, maybe anakutaka tu wewe. And that's selfish, that's narcissistic, that's wrong. Like, I don't think it's valid for you to lie to someone to that extent about like their paternity. That's crazy. That's Sidri. Personally, if it happened to me, I'd be very bewildered and shocked and inaweza kuheartbreak ile ya ukweli. But sasa, by the time I think you're DJ Rev, you're 24 years. I think saa hapo saa utafanya nini? There you have to, those are your kids. They're not your kids biologically, but raising people to that point, it's not about, like, being family, there's a thin line between family and such things. And by the time we raise mtu hivyo, that's now your family. I think the time you've been around each other like that. But then the heartbreak is still there, the emotional shock is still there, everything else is still there. So I think it's a very scary thing for someone to have to put you through that, especially about paternity, honestly.
All right.
It's crazy. Like, how do you even, but sasa, kama umesha bond na mtoi na usha form relationship now, that's your kid, man.
You could be having a point, but let me say, you know, if you're deceived, if you're deceived, one of the worst things that you actually want to have is that thing that actually reminds you of the deceit. Now, me, I've been deceived for 24 years.
Yeah.
This kid, when I see him or her, as in it will be the remembrance. Ndio ndakuwa nafanya nakumbuka mazee huyu ndo alifanya ndio uongo. Sasa utaishi na hiyo uongo. Unaona mazee ndio ile uongo.
Yeah.
So how do you love it the same?
But let me ask you, let me ask you, DJ Rev, then, why would you take it out on the kid? You know, because sio yeye alikudanganya, they are probably lost just like you are.
Yeah.
This is something they didn't know. It is the mother that chose to lie to you, and this child has never known this truth. And the day you're finding out is the day this child is finding it out. Do you think there's anyone else that this child needs more than you at that moment? Because that child and you ndo mnafeel kitu same at that moment. Don't you agree?
As in, I'm not taking it out on the child. The child is just collateral damage. You get, it's collateral damage because I'd want to love this child like it's my own. But do you know I'll be setting up myself for failure? What if the father of this child, the real father of this child, comes and claims the child? What will I do?
After 24 years.
It might come, as in I've realized, naende kotini se muni mtoi wangu, I want my child. So what do? You wanna baki hapo na nas wounds mara mbili. The mother, umeachana na familia yako has broken, now mtoi yako hapa. You see, I don't know, the fact that you actually have to, as a man, have to actually look for DNA mtoi, that later in life is very wrong. And you know that's cheating. And a family is supposed to be based on love. And cheating shatters the grand ambition of love. You get? So I think it is very hurtful. So people might react the same. There's somebody who might say, me, in Sawa, I might neza achana na mtoi, neza achana mama yake, then I continue with the child. But how will that setup be as well? And then also kuna mtu anasema, life imeenda sana, so neza kaa. But doesn't mean they will not hurt. You get? Yeah. So it's not about taking up on the child. It's just you don't know how to react to them.
Yeah.
How do you react? People will react differently. The same way the way you will react, it's not the same way I will react. I will react badly. I know myself. I know myself.
Okay, Bobby. Sometimes some things we do are mostly a reflection of who we are.
Definitely,
you know?
definitely.
So would you say that someone that decides or has the urge of doing a DNA test is because of the things they are doing out there, and they think their spouse could be doing that also?
Definitely. Trust begets trust, because by the point this is even a discussion, I think it depends with how the discussion is brought about, the conversation we are having. If it's just something kawa, like, babe, let's just, you know, that's just so we're sure, we know nini, nini, nini. It's not that it's coming from somewhere, ama there's like ulterior motives or whatever. Yes. But if my jama just comes one day and he's like, cheki, na dai DNA umse. Of course, ndakuwa confused, like, what do you mean? What do you mean you need a DNA? Because for me, you see, it's not coming from, that conversation is coming, it's the way you've approached me with it, it's like you don't trust me. There's something you're feeling, there's something you're thinking. And by the time we're having kids, I feel like we should be in a position where we are able to have conversations. You can just ask me, and I should be able to be honest with you. But ikifika point ya watu wanaulizana DNA in that way, like where there's no trust, then ishakuwa shattered. Because I promise you, even after you do the DNA and you find the child is yours, imagine how the girl is feeling. Imagine the gap you've put, but just it's very dependent on your communication. If you communicate that it's, you know, I feel like it should be something normal actually, getting such tests done. It should just be something that's normal so that everyone knows. Because hata watu you exchange your kwa hosi and things like that. Vitu happen. So, because I've seen stories about mothers going home with their kids and then later they have such situations, but mnafanya DNA mtoi hata match kwa mother, wacha hata father. Like the kid is not even the mother. So such things happen. Depending on how you bring up the conversation, it's a very valid conversation to have. I think even men shouldn't shy away from asking. If you need the clarification, it's okay, but you have to make sure your conversation and the way you initiate the discourse is coming from a place of love and trust and respect. But ikikuja in a way that yo unanishuku, of course, unanishuku juu unafanya zile vitu zenye unadhani mimi nafanya. That's the only way I can explain. Because how are we okay? We are fine, we are good. And then one day you just wake up and it's the same way when someone has been okay with you and then all of a sudden they want to start checking your phone. They want to start knowing where you're going. Nini, like you're always communicating, but you can start to see they're a bit more insecure. Listen, there's no problem with being insecure. It's okay for you to feel like you need the extra reassurance. The problem is in how you communicate it. If you come to me and tell me, babe, I feel like you don't tell me anymore where you're going, you don't tell me who you're hanging around with, please, if you're my partner, feel free to ask for that extra reassurance, and I should be able to provide it. It shouldn't come from a, unakwanga wapi, unakwanga na nani. No, it's just, I feel like we don't communicate anymore, so can I please be in on, like, whatever is happening, the situation. There, I'd feel obliged to be able to provide the communication as you need, because if you don't communicate that you're a little insecure, how am I going to know how to match your reassurance? And we're human beings. Easy vitu happen. Unaweza sikia nilicheka na Shata kwa studio, nimekuja home umejam. So usponi show stajua. If you don't ask me about Shata, and there's nothing genuinely going on, I won't feel like there's something I have to tell you. But you see, when do umejam, when do una feel insecure? So it's upon you to be able to be a big boy and use your words. Come and ask me, let me know. But if you don't trust me, you're going to think I'm lying. And that's just how it is with liars and cheaters. They're always doing whatever wanashuku the other person is doing to answer your question. So the communication that you pass across is very, very important. How you ask is very important. But note that being jealous, being insecure, being hurt, being emotional, all these things are very, very normal. And it's okay for you to feel like that.
All right.
Yeah.
DJ Rev.
Yes, sir.
By the way, pia uko nyumbani, you can get involved with this conversation. Kwenye SMS number 22422. All right? Ebu mniambie pia nyinyi, what is your take with all these things? Why do you think men have decided, like there's a surge of men doing DNA tests? What realization has come about? Is it that mmefika point mkaona it's too much now? Ama should it be a requirement on the birth certificate ya mtoto akitoka hospitali that the mother provided this name as the father? We have done a DNA and it is a match. It's not a match. To avoid all this drama that we have. Now, please jiachilie kwa SMS number 22422. At least hapa we will not leave your name. We will not show your name, rather, because najua kuna watu wanawatch sahi na kwa hiyo situation, because these are things happening to real people in real time.
Yeah.
You could be in that situation right now and you think you want to ask for that DNA, you don't know if to tell your spouse, you want to do it in secrecy. Hebu jiachilie hapo. Then we will get to sample some of your feedback. How's it? Now, DJ Rev,
yeah,
let me ask you this. You know, just the way trust is earned, mistrust is also earned.
Yeah.
You know, for you to start doing some things, it means you've seen some characters in your spouse and you think, no, this is not good. All right? Or maybe hata watu wanakuambia uko nje, maze, yo, my guy, this kid does not look like you, man.
Wenu bana.
Kuna mtu mwingine anakujanga hapa na anamuita daddy. You know, like mistrust is earned
Exactly.
as well.
Yeah.
And the question I'd asked Roberta, will you be doing it, like, will you start doubting your partner because we mwenyewe uko nje unajua you are being promiscuous? Ama what do you think will bring about that urge ya wewe kwenda kufanya hiyo DNA test?
Si aniambie tu ukweli. Aniambie tu ukweli, instead of I waste money going for DNA, ni hiyo chapara naweza ekelea shabiki jackpost.
Put it in the account.
I'd rather niambie tu than as in first of all there is deceit, alafu naenda kutumia chapa, and then I lose money as well. So just tell me. I think you
listen, in this situation mostly watu wanaenda kuuliza DNA test hawaambiagi bibi zao.
Exactly.
You do it in secrecy.
Yeah.
You know? So you didn't ask her.
Yeah.
You had a hunch and you decided to go confirm.
True.
So my question is, why would you start suspecting her? Maybe mmeishi for a long time. Paena, yes, ndio. Ni nini itakudrive to kwanza kumsuspect? Is it that ile character wewe uko nayo umeanza kuireflect on her, umeanza kuiproject on her? Ama ni nini why is she earning this mistrust now? What characters are there that you would say now she's earned this mistrust? I need to do this.
It means there's something I've seen. First of all, either that you've said properly, that people might have informed me that there's all doubts and all indications to suggest that this is not my child. Number two, something could have, she could have done something wrong. Like maybe Roberta was mentioning a couple of things that maybe leo mtu wake anazona mna smile naye kwa TV and then anze kumshuku, unaniget? So there's that. But I think there's so many factors. There's so many factors that will lead to that. That unononyo mtoi si wangu. As in, hata watu wenu wanza kuja kuambie. Wanacheki mtoi, mazeno no mtoi. Mtoi, anafanana na kwetu, hakuna. Anafanana shut up, hapana bling, hapana. Anafanana na sub, hapana. Mtoi ni wanani. So there's
anafanana na watu wa kwetu.
Exactly.
Lazima kwetu wenu.
Nimeangalia kwenu hakuna. Nimeangalia kwenu hakuna. So, but for me, I'm as in love, I could be trusting my wife. Then in the sense that I will never doubt her. You realize, you know, this it gets to a point when you love somebody very much and you trust them, you give them the benefit of doubt. You get. But also these questions now that coming from other people, you know, that mtu yafanana na wewe, and then maybe one day there must be a trigger. I cannot just, like, if we've lived for that long, we've never doubted each other, then at some point then I start having doubts. There is a trigger. You see also, if we do not address the trigger, you get, I will continue living with that doubt. You know? So, and that's why you find out somebody now goes and does the DNA secretly, because also there is the aspect of trying to confront, you could confront your partner, then be wrong and spoil the relationship. You get, so you just keep quiet. You also do not want to look insecure. You know, as a man, you have an ego. You get, mwanaume, si kila time atashinda akiuliza. Not every man keeps asking. You could see something, but because of your ego, you don't want to look insecure, then you just stop it. That's why you find somebody goes and does the DNA secretly. Unafanya chini ya maji. But now, unless you address the trigger, what made you doubt, what has initiated the mistrust, unless you address that, then I think you cannot move forward with that issue. Yeah. But
there's something else, Roberta, and I hope people won't think this is victim blaming. Do you think men are making themselves an easy target out here? Like, you're philandering out here with everyone. So mdema kitokea kwa by the way mtoi ni wako.
It's very difficult.
Yani hauna njia ya kujitoa. So because you've made yourself an easy target, like you're here, you're there, you're everywhere, you're not being careful. So mtu akishow up tu kwa mtoi ni wako, it's easy for you to believe because you know actually I've been here.
Okay. I see how that can come up as victim blaming because it doesn't matter how you're acting. I don't think anyone deserves to be lied to, you know, to that extent. But then, yeah, because that would be like a tit for tat situation because unafanya hii so inamaanisha hii inaweza kuwa sawa. But two wrongs never really make any right. And I don't wanna say that men put themselves in such situations, but I can say that you have to choose to do better. Whether you're a man or a woman, you have to intentionally choose to do better. Because you know that if you put yourself in such a situation, like the repercussions and the consequences might be different, or they might be talking like this, or if you do this, this might happen to you. So if you're in a situation like that and you're a guy, I think you should try to be a bit more intentional with the people that you maybe have intercourse with, so that you're able to keep a track record, so that you're able kujipanga na kujua ndo msee asiweze kutokea anywhere anze kukudanganya, because kaa hauko rada, of course you're susceptible to such vulnerabilities. So take care of yourself before somebody takes advantage of you and then it's a situation where you can't get out of. I mean, if there's things that you can do beforehand to make sure that you're safer and you're at a better position to control your life, that's the ideal. Don't be scared to take charge of your life and make decisions that make you a better person. But even with saying that, it doesn't mean that it's okay for women to come into your life and lie to you. That's very, very wrong. That's something that, I don't know, you know, building a bond with a child, that's something that's, I can't equate it to anything. For you to think that someone is your child and then one day you just find out they're not, that's like the craziest level of deceit. Because not only is your lover gonna be hurt, the child is also going to have to go through all this trauma and all these repercussions that you should have done better so you can make better decisions. I mean, if you're with someone and you love them and say you stepped out and you happened to make a baby with someone else, I think with the same confidence that you had to step out on them, you should master the same confidence to be able to talk to them about it. And if you guys are friends for real and you actually really care about it, it should be a discussion that you can have. Whether mtaumia, mko hurt, mta break up, mta fight, you owe that person that communication. See, ulikuwa confident enough to step out. Why can't you just come and tell them the situation as it is before they even get to hear it from people outside? Like, what kind of respect do you have for this person that is your friend, that is your lover, that is your person? You need to show a bit more care and be a bit more intentional with your relationships. So it's very, 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 very wrong, but then work on yourself as a person, as a man, as a woman, work on yourself so that even when people are being shady, I know people switch up, but they were still quite perfect, unakanea hata 10 years, one day anamka ajiski anymore, ama amechange, ama mtoisi wako. Such things happen to people in real time, all the time. But then work on yourself so much that you're able to be aware and pick up such cues. I'd say hizi vitu nyingi ni sisi ndo tunachuzengi kukua oblivious kwa sababu ya love ama whatever reason you got into the relationship for. But if you're keen, if you're really, really aware within yourself and you're keen with your surroundings, I feel like you should be able to tell, oh, she's not being truthful with me. There's something. And in that situation, bring up the conversation, talk, ask questions. Wacha ikue uliuliza akadanganya, rather than you've gone a different route and now it's a whole fight, a whole argument and things like that. So I'd say work on yourself so that you're able to be aware when people are being shady around you.
All right.
Yeah.
Work on yourself is the key word here. Now, DJ Rev.
Yeah.
Kuna kitu tumeuliza Robertta about men making themselves an easy target because of not being careful with what they are doing out here, being everywhere. Kuna msanii, I think kama 2 years ago, alisema alileleshwa mtoto 9 years.
Wow.
Then akakam kurealize actually we are 3 fathers to this child. We are 3 fathers, like kuna huyo na kuna mimi. Na kila mtu kwa na siku yake amepangiwa. You know? You see the primary itagwa aje thing for a parent to do is to want stability for their child. You know? And a good life for that child as well.
Yeah.
You see, kama dem amekaa kaangalia kaona kati ya maboy nilikuwa nao, huyu Rev ndiye ako stable enough. So me, I'm going to tell Rev this is his kid. You know?
Yeah.
Whether it's his or not. And she tells you. Uraget. But now on the other hand, on the other side, how could you protect? You made yourself an easy target. You know? So what do you say about that?
How do you make yourself an easy target?
By not being careful?
No, you're having an exclusive relationship with this person. As in, I trust you and I love you, and I don't have an iota of maybe doubt that you could be cheating on me. So see, I go all in. When I go all in, and then I decide to share with you love, as in nini, and then we've got into a relationship where, as in, iko hivo. a child is nini. So me, I don't know that wewe pia you're having that same relationship even better than me with somebody else. Me niko busy na job. Niko busy hustling. I'm out there trying to fend for our future. But I get, hey, as in I want to, a baby is coming. So I don't have time to doubt you. Then you, as in now, unanidanganya, you go behind my back and cheat on me. I don't know. Then later on in life, I come to find out. So how is it my blame when I decide to love you wholeheartedly? You get, I give you all the trust that is needed for love to flourish. Number two, you know, when we do these things, where do we leave the child? Najua pia mtoi ni wa kuhurumia. As in, mtoi amekuja, mtoi pia amefika 9 years. And then ama buda ama chalio amekuja amejua wote. That huyu wako kienjoiwa. Then humtoi hii life alikuwa amezoea. Humtoi amebakiaje? As in, do you understand like now the mental intensity in terms of health umtoi atakuwa now? This child will be mentally tortured. And then this child will lack identity. He will not have an identity. As in, even the child is confused. Shule anaulizwa, who is your father? Unaona, anakumbuka tishata, ni nani, ama ni nani, unaona. As in, where does this leave the child? You get? So I think there's no way you can blame the man for this. Or when somebody is cheated on, it is also wrong to blame the victim. You get? You don't blame the victim.
All right, hold it there. Where does this leave the child? Wacha tuchukue feedback kidogo, halafu turudi tuendelee kwa where does this leave the child? Because kama ushajua makosa imetendeka, makosa imetokea, CJ once said, makosa imetokea. So, what next? Tusome keje mnasema huko nyumbani. Member still SMS number 22422. Aya, wadau. Ombese. Really?
Uwezi ona.
Okay, wacha nikaribie.
Doi.
All right. Asante sana. All right. DNA. It's good. Ukicheza siku hizi, utalea watoto sio wako na bibi ni wako. All right. It is wrong. No, but keep the kids. But the lady has to go. Haya. Ubaki na watoto sio wako, mama yao aende. Agnes, it has been there from before. Women having kids with different men when in marriage. Only young men have an issue with that. Any elder man will tell you, it happens and life goes on. Men have kids secretly too. Mostly it happens when people are bitter and seek revenge instead of healing. Mutazoea wadau. All right. Morning. Mimi, someone texted my man. Akamsho mtoisi wake. He went on to do the DNA. Na akapata mtoini wake. Sema kupigwa character development. Bado naona kaa ni ndoto. Don't mention my number. Hii ndio ile huitwa emotional damage. Oh, hii ndio ile huitwa emotional damage. Ni hiyo mami. Maze, squeezy. Women are liars. So DNA ndio mambo. Umbaka amesema maze, squeezy. Hii ndio formation. All right, wada. All right. Tufanye hivi. Finally, Georgina.
What's up?
Like do drum rolls and everything.
And relation.
Georgina.
Amabo. Hayo.
Uko salama?
Uko salama sana.
Amazingness.
Yeah.
Tunaanzia hapo. Watu wamepeana maoni yao. Wewe, sasa to catch up.
Okay.
Tulikuwa tumefika where does this leave the child? So, apia vile umekaa pale umesikiza kiasi. Why do you think kuna hiyo surge ya wanaume kutaka kujua kama truly watoini wao?
Okay, cool. Number one, as in mistrust, we need to be honest. These days, trust is such any commodity haipatikani. You get me? So it's unfortunate that tulianza kitambo in the Bible when David took somebody's wife, you know? And at that point he realized, oh, hapa anaweza kuwa ameharibu. So he's trying to bring Uriah from the battlefield. Like, bro, come, you know, just go be your wife, you know, just in case there's a child in the mix, you know, just to be like as a cover-up. So it's been there from time immemorial. People are mistrusting of each other. And it's unfortunate that also women, I don't know if we're evolving to be more manipulative, to be more I don't know, kuna shida bahali. It's unfortunate.
Game is game.
Game is game, you understand? And a lot of women these days are, I don't want to say a lot, but a number, isn't it? Like you're getting into marriages or you're getting into relationships for financial stability. And I know personally of women who have had children with other men, and you've covered up that storo for like 9 years. Eh? Until you start realizing this kid, this eyes.
Ngoja kidogo. Ngoja kidogo. Bobby.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yes.
Unaona amesema maoni yake.
Yeah.
Nataka wewe useme, where does this leave the child?
Okay.
This is an innocent kid. 9 years. Amekujua kama daddy. Now unakam kumwambia wewe sio daddy. Juu Rev amesema as a man he would step.
Yeah.
He wouldn't stay there.
Yeah.
All right? There's a scenario where probably you have 3 kids with your wife, and maybe the middle child ndio sio wako.
Yeah.
Sasa umtoi utaanzaje kumwambia wewe sio wangu na wengine ni wangu? You know? Ama hata mtoi maybe ni mmoja.
Yeah.
But anakujua kama daddy for 9 years. Where does this leave this child?
You know, the funny thing is that I am this child. This is exactly what happened to me with my dad. And
okay, exclusively on Daybreak.
reporting from the horse's mouth.
Number 2 will shock you.
But I think I had a really great support system because my biological dad is really, really a great guy. And my other dad, he didn't leave. He just like I never felt any difference from my brother. I never felt like I wasn't his kid or there was something different. And I look exactly like my biological dad. Like, I have his face. As in, ukituona hivi ni nywele tu han. He's just bald, but he's just me. He has my whole face. So obviously, and then when I found out about 2 years ago. And when I was finding out, everybody knew in the family. It was just me and my little brother who had no idea. So this definitely rocked my world. It threw me into depression because now everything is a lie. My tribe, my names, my ushago, my family, my nini, everything. It was actually really, really depressing. I wish they would have found a way to communicate all these things to me in a different way. I wish they eased the conversation in because I never knew. I literally had no idea that my dad was not my dad and I had another dad. Because he never treated me in a way that showed I had another dad somewhere. But I'd say it was a really, really horrible experience to go through. Because nika identity crisis, nika, okay, so mini nani basi. Where do I start? Who am I? And it took time for things to get back to normal but I'd say that all the adults that are involved, they really took responsibility. And from then on, it wasn't a point of mlinikosea, hamkuniambia. It was more of, okay, this has happened. We found out. How do we proceed? What happens? And right now I have a very, very amazing relationship with my bio dad. And I have still an amazing relationship with my dad that I thought was my bio dad for 20-something years. Nothing really, like no one has ever made me feel like I don't belong or something is weird. So I think the communication is very, very important. Have to have experienced life as that child that you guys are asking about, I'd say I just felt betrayed because there was no communication. That's how I felt. I felt like these guys were selfish. They didn't care about, nobody ever sat and thought, how will Robertta feel? What is Robertta gonna go through when she finds out walikuwa tu how in their own relationships to make sure nani asikasirike ama nani asijue. They never really put into consideration my own emotions. I'd say the good thing is ilinipata sale, I'm an adult who is good at communication, who's good at listening, who's ready to forgive. Maybe ningekuwa teenager ingekuwa ngori na ningekuwa nimejaa mbaya na singejua kuhandle anything na singekuwa better at listening at the stage I am. So I'd say the communication is very important. How you speak, how you ask for the DNA. Because there's times when my parents are fighting, I'd hear things like, na nimesema nataka DNA yake, you know. And now that I found out, when I remember such things, ndo na put 2 and 2 together, like, oh, kumbe even him, he was lied to. Ama kumbe him, he had. But there's no shame about it, honestly. There shouldn't be any shame about it. It's just about the sense of belonging and honesty in relationships. Be honest. Saizi, it's 2 years later, si wote tuko sawa. Hakuna mtu ana fight. Nobody even is angry at each other. There's no at, oh, I'm the father. There's no such thing. We're all adults. Everyone is happy and we're all nurturing our relationships. With that, it's just that I am at a better position to be able to handle the situation. There's someone else who this might happen to that doesn't have the support or doesn't have parents or adults involved who are willing to talk to each other and resolve the situation. So what I can advise, honestly, is just focus on the communication and how you take care of each other. Because that kid's voice and that kid's feelings, they really, really matter. And you need to really, really be careful about how you pass this information within each other.
True that.
Yeah.
I have so many follow-up questions on that. But because we did not say it is a Robertta exclusive, I will not ask.
Take a pod.
But I have so many follow-up questions, Bobby.
She handled it well.
Umehandle vizuri.
I'm grateful she spoke about it because she's opened a can of worms. I too am that child.
Mayo.
What a coincidence.
Okay. Another Georgina exclusive right here. Like another Georgina exclusive people.
It's true.
In 3.
Wow. Okay.
Number 3 will shock you.
Number 4.
Oh my God. Sorry. So he left before I was born, yeah? And my mom did an amazing job.
Yeah.
You know, she never spoke ill about him. But I went through life feeling rather rejected, you know? Like, there was always constant communication with him and my brother. But me, I was not in the picture, you know? Even when there was a problem, there's a time I called him and akakataa kuchukua simu, but immediately he called my brother. Like, are you okay? Is everything okay? You know? So I think when I hit 30, that's when I wanted to know what happened between you and my dad. So, you know, she figured, you're 30, let me just tell you why this didn't work out. And I was not ready for that information. But bottom line is, somebody lied to him, a lady who actually wanted him, lied to him that I am not his daughter, that I am some other dude's daughter. And akakubali, regardless of the fact that, again, I am the spitting image of my father. Like, inakwanga control V.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know why that happens, because that's the same.
Like, how can you ruka such a thing?
Yeah.
And my mom had even spoken about a DNA test, you know, just to be sure, like, she knows I am his, you know?
Yes.
But if you want to find out, you just go ahead, you're an adult, do it. But, you know, being 30, you've literally gone through all the emotions, you know. You've gone through rejection, you've known how to deal with it. I don't talk to him, so there's no communication, there's no closure whatsoever, you know. So you're just left by yourself to find your identity, let's say in Christ, or find your own identity somewhere else, you know. But when it comes to the child, being in the center of it all, it's turmoil. Let's be honest, it's turmoil. Like, where do I come from? Who do I belong to? Like, some of these streets, where do they come from? What do I identify?
And no one gives
it's
you the
crazy.
answers.
And nobody's giving you the answers, you know. And you will have to rely on yourself and your emotions to just pave that way for yourself. Yeah.
Wow,
So it's definitely 10 years you've been raising somebody else's child, as in, maybe don't break it too, I don't know. I can't answer that
I think
question.
as well, you brought a very important, as in 2 things I get from you guys, is that as a man, if you decide to go for the DNA, be ready for the consequences.
Yeah.
As in, just know, if in the event that I find this is not my child, what will I do? Don't figure out then. As now, when you're gathering the money, looking for a place to go do the DNA, as in that decision has come up, sit down, don't be in a hush, because there's a lot of people going to be affected here.
Yeah.
So as in, be calm and collected. Number 2 as well, also the ease of doing DNA. Like in your scenario, if your dad was able, like now, just go to the nearest dispensary there, did DNA with ease, and then this will have actually solved a problem that took 30 years to solve. So I think as a man, before you go do that DNA test, be ready for that information. If the child is yours, well and good. You get? And you've done the DNA now, your wife will feel now emotionally damaged, like actually you doubted her.
Trust.
Well, she loved you. Now there's broken trust. So also be ready for that as well, in the event that you find this is your child. Also, in the event that you find that this is not your child, so what will you do from there? Like, don't victimize the child. The child is innocent. You get? And if as a man, you already found out that this is not your child, and you decide to stay, don't make this child feel bad. You get? I'll take the child as they are. Ishi na yeye hivyo hivyo, usiwahi victimize. If you have problems between wewe na mama yake, go behind closed doors, deal with that issue. But now, ishi na huo mtoto. You get? Yeah. Ukidecide ukausia tu umedecide kukaa, and then kila wakati mtu unamleta in the midst of drama. You keep causing, and you decided, if you decide to stay, stay. Now continue. And then the second one is just as in the World Men's Day and the World Father's Day, that day that people so wrongly make it the World Toilets Day, should be, I think, also World's DNA Day. Exactly. Your toilet make Men's Day and the Father's Day make it World's DNA. At least we could, as in I see workshops za hospitali, like now today mnaza kuja, itakuwa nini zile hosi na kujaga and organize mnaenda mnafanya free medical check. Hizo ya Men's Day fanyeni zile hosi zote DNA at a subsidized rate.
Mukona issue, trust issue.
But it's true.
You guys have just gone up on trust issues all over written in that statement. Let's do this. We read one tweet, tunai discuss, ndio? Lakini both of you, we need to do a podcast. Like,
exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, kuna mmoja hapa, bado ni SMS, amesema, if a man doesn't sire, he is broke, and you can't use other scientific means. People hide behind religion, but it affects marriages. How do you go about it? You know? Haya, mwingine ameuliza, is it consequential for a man who was separated with his spouse to go for DNA test? Maybe, haya, imagine teacher wangu wa bio alinishow eti a woman anaweza kuwa pregnant for twins but of different dads. Is that true? I think so. Kifaulu from Kilifi, anasema DNA is a must do. Modern women can never be trusted. Advice to fellow men, trust but verify. Si hata IBC waliambiwa wa verify. Cheating ndio inaleta hizo shida wadau. Sio ati ni cheating tu. All right. I am 29 years. Raised my daughter for 5 years knowing she isn't my biological child. Upon requesting DNA, my ex-wife kept crying. Yeah. The ex-wife. Kumaanisha waliachana. You will not be complete as a father, especially if you are living in doubt about your children.
Yeah.
Guys, kuna huyu amesema 29. Yo ya biology, yo tutaweza kuuliza madaktari. Tuta-verify. We will ask doctors about it.
Kwa portal.
Mwalimu wa biology sidhani anaweza kuwa pia anakudanganya. Lakini hapo tuta-verify. Huyu amesema 29 years, alilea mtoto 5 years, akijuaga usio wake. But akibaliza amesema ex-wife wake, meaning after I think alirealize ukweli, no longer a wife, she is an ex. Now you see, mi swali yangu ni hii. Kama ninafika point nina doubt, I want to do that DNA, you know?
Yeah.
Shouldn't I do a DNA on that relationship on its own? Leave alone hata tufike watoi.
Yeah.
That relationship on its own needs a DNA. Is it mine, that relationship? Because I am clearly showing, sio yangu.
You are well within your rights. Like immediately doubt has been introduced in a relationship. Immediately, as in kunaka mistrust mahali, it is well within your right to ask questions, you know, just for your mental health, just for your own sake. So for example, that lady, the ex-wife, 5 years, akiulizwa swali anaanza tu kulia. That's why I tell you, women are very, very manipulative. Can be. Oh my, 5 years, you don't trust me, you know. And the more you cry, the more they okay, don't cry, okay, I'm sorry. You know,
okay.
They know that. They can prey on your emotions, you know. So I feel like paternity tests are like a double-edged sword, like you said, Rev. So one, so you do decide to get a paternity test, okay? It's because one, kuna mistrust na kuna doubt. So you go ahead and do the paternity test and then you find out the kids are yours. So what happens to your relationship? What happens to your wife? She's going to be eternally hurt by the fact that you did not doubt her. I mean, you doubted her, you know? Then what happens when you actually do find out the children are not yours? As in, the whole family boat is rocked.
True.
Everyone involved will be messed up in one way or another. So, you see, like the way we get kids in the hospital, unatokanga na notification.
Yes.
I think it should just come with a DNA test result. Tumalize your story once and for all. Yani before mtoto akue day one. As in, how about we just do that?
You cannot build a family on mistrust.
No, you cannot.
Ati tumetoka tu OC birth certificate na kuja na DNA result.
Yes. Tumalize tu your story.
Why not?
Why
Why?
not? No, why not? Why not?
Because sasa hiyo ni kuanza kugrow family na mistrust.
No, that's
Tumeanzia
just
hatuaminiani from the
providing
scratch.
extra information
No.
that's needed. I don't think it's, like I said, the way you communicate it, it's not ati lazima nikuwe na DNA ndo nijue.
Hapana.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's just starting from a clean
Just
slate.
wewe mtoto anahitaji
Yeah.
birth certificate.
Yeah.
Anahitaji pia identity.
Exactly.
Exactly.
This is Ellen.
So in short, we are protecting this child.
Yes.
Therefore,
Let's
in
start
future, we will not
Because
rock
you
their
see,
life.
like Georgina's dad, he left and Georgina is the daughter. Si ati alitoka na mtoisi wake. Unaget, hiyo ni different situation.
That's true.
So, okay, naweza sema maybe he just needed a reason to leave. Because mse wa kubaki angebaki, whether mtoini wake ama si wake, angetaka. I'm not just saying like your dad, I'm talking about like...
Yeah, in general.
Generally.
If they wanted to stay, they just would have stayed. So let's stop also basing parenthood on if you like the mom enough to stay for the kids or things like that. Like if you just decide, like Rev said, if you decide to be a parent, just be a parent. Like hakuna hizo if ati unangoja loophole ati DNA. That's why like tukianza conversation with Rev when he was saying he'd get very angry. You know, when it's happening in real time, it's very different from when unapiga story.
That's true.
When there's a real child involved, and something that I like about like my dad, who I thought was my dad, I never felt a difference. I never at once felt like my brother was better than me. Ama kani kututesa alitutesa sisi wote. Ama kani There was never I never felt a rift. I never felt a difference. That's something he did really well. Like I always felt like I was his daughter, whether he was present or not. He was very, very clear about Robertta ni wangu. And even my bio dad, he's also like that. Like they've never fought about who's the dad or like it's always we're both her dads. Let's just all show up for her. Because they think about the kid. It's very important that you make sure this kid, like Georgina, I can relate to what she's saying because your feeling you're no belonging, it's actually the worst.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. First of all, isn't if it to happen kwa Nollywood movies, alafu, all of a sudden it's you who's, oh, what? I have a
Crazy.
secret. What?
Just
It's
that
very
it is not, it's just that you're in that Oga movie.
Exactly.
Hujaitwa Okoye.
By the way, it actually breaks you up. It breaks you in ways that
It really does.
unafeel ni kama wazazi wako wakupendi nao ndo alikuleta huku na hakuna mtu yana deserve kufeel hivyo. So when you're being a dad, whether you're being the father that stepped up or there shouldn't be a difference or a rift, the kid should just feel like I have daddy and mommy. Everything else, and then himso tuko behind closed doors. Hizo arguments zenu, and then mfanye uko mbali.
That's true. Unajua like sasa literally kuna watu wako kwa hii situation wanakapitia sai, maybe anataka kwenda kufanya DNA ya mtoi, maybe kuna mtu ameifanya na imekuwa sio wake, hajaambia mtu wake, you know, umepima tu na umejua kabisa sio wangu, so you just have the results with you. You've not told anyone, you don't know how to react to it. Unaona, una seek for answers sai. Kuna tweet nyingine nilipost kwa group, I think pia kwa group yetu, mdem alikuwa ana complain, anasema mchali ameenda akafanya DNA after 8 years akapata mtoi sio wake. So the lady said, I have actually forgiven myself for cheating. But what about the kid? Why would he ghost our child? You know? Kuna
That's
situations
valid.
kama hizo. I think people need closure.
But,
So
yeah.
I'll start with you, Rev. What would you say kwa mtu mwenye ameenda kapima saa hii ama anataka kwenda kupima? Okay, mwenye anataka kupima mshamwambia that akuwe ready for any situation. Unaget? Na ajiprepare for the worst case scenario. Na vile ata address pia mtoi. Ajue pia mtoi ni victim kwa situation kama yeye tu, si ndio? Haya, kuna mwenye amepima mpata results sio mtoi sio wake. Sawa. Hajaambia mtu yoyote. Hajui ianzie wapi. How would you advise such a person?
Amepata mtoi wake. As in tunarutuma tulianzia tukasema mazee before uende kufanya hiyo DNA kuwa prepared, just be well prepared na the outcome. Na kuna ule tu anyway alikasirika akapata hiyo do na akasema liwe liwalo akaenda akafanya. Wow. In whatever you do, how you react, please consider umtoi.
Yeah.
All right.
Consider that child. As in, this child is innocent. This child is not in between the drama. Or however you react, let it be between you and the mother. If you need time to, to cool off, first of all, blow off steam kidogo nini, just disappear kidogo. Unaona, not go with no ghosting
Not
the
to
child,
ghosting, yes.
as in responsibly. And also, it's, as in,
It's okay to take a breather.
yeah, exactly. But whatever you do, please don't make this child feel bad about it. It is not their fault. And number two, wow, if you decide to stay, you're strong. I'm not. But if you decide to stay, like I said earlier, just be the parent.
All right.
Be the parent. Don't keep bringing up.
Regina,
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Okay? Uchali amepima, mpata mtoisio wake. Amekuja amekuconfront na umeaccept. Mwambie yenyewe kiukweli sio wako. Akuulize, who is the dad? Umwambie ako hapa, si ndio? Atafute mpaka mpate. Sawa? And now the child umse mwingine pia like the biological dad ajue kumbe umse ashajua, and now he wants to be present in this child's life. Okay? What rights does he have? How do you maneuver that situation? Okay, let's not go legal. But
I'll definitely go legal.
the biological dad now wants to be
come
present.
into the picture.
Yes, wants to be in the picture.
Yes.
Because ule mtoi wake, si ndio?
Yes.
Huyu mwingine amejua sio wake na ameamua kukaa.
amekubali.
They are not stepping na amemkubali.
Oh wow. Tutaenda lunch. Tukae chini na no, really, what else do what can I say? What can I say?
Yeah.
No, really. This is a biological
Your reaction
father.
is showing that you men are not ready
No,
to be emotionally.
You know, as in
It's true.
there's
Just
biology.
listen.
Listen to Georgina.
Hold it.
Tutaenda lunch.
Land.
Tukae chini. Ni wanaume. I believe men, you guys are very, you're very sober-minded when you actually want to, you know.
Okay.
You will sit down. Yes, you have a right. This is your child.
Yes.
This also has a right. You're in my life, so you have decided to be in our lives. Unaona? So tutaanza kuongea mambo ya ni equal opportunities, ama ni school fees, ni rent. You know, as in let us talk. But it would be not right for me now to completely
Be ready to have a
happy.
food of 3. Nobody will show up.
This is now imagination. Honestly, I don't know. I think I would just sit us down. I cannot preempt how the conversation would go. You know, these are things you cannot preempt. But communication is key. If those two men are willing to sit down and say, at the end of the day, we're not hurting this child. It is the best interest of this child. Then they come up with a solution. Me, I'll be there to facilitate what they've decided to do. True or
I think
false?
that's a good.
All right.
Yeah.
Why not send your representatives?
Nikuulize. Wait, hold it.
As if they don't want to meet you, as in you just send representatives.
Bobby.
He's given me a scenario.
Yes, I am giving. This scenario is not yet overweight. The scenario is going round. Bobby, in this kwa hiyo scenario, huo chali mwenye ameamua kukaa na mtoisio wake, si ndio? Yeah, yuko okay na mse mwingine akiwa in the picture.
Ati
Who
yeah,
takes
yuko?
priority? Ayuko okay?
Ayuko
Na the
okay,
biological dad akuko in the picture.
Okay.
Who takes priority? The one that is living with the kid, or the biological dad?
You see, the problem comes in where you start pitting them against each other. Like it's supposed to be a competition of who's supposed to be best daddy or who's supposed to be present daddy. Again, this is my real life situation, and my dads are not acting like that. We have independent relationships of each other. I don't know if they are friends or if they can talk to each other, but there's never been any ati wamekosana ama wame-argue ama wame-fight ama wame-kujiana in a way that... And I know my mom, she did a really good job at making sure like the boundaries are set, everyone is very respectful, and that my well-being is being taken care of. Like my mom did a really great job at making sure that I'm okay. But like these men, there's never been a rift. Like hata kawa shaikosana, mi sijui. That's how well they handle the situation.
As they should.
And I feel like even now, like my bio dad, he's the kind of guy who even if he calls my other dad right now, he'd just pick up. Watacheka. Hata ka kuna differences ilikuwa years ago. I don't think that's something I have ever been able to see all my life. Na si ati lazima wako na relationship. si ati lazima wakwe friends, si ati lazima wakwe hapo, but how they feel each other has never come up in the way they deal with me. I have a really good relationship with both of them. I call all of them daddy. Ata sinanga weirdness ati, oh, this is dad one, ama this is the dad who's done this for me. I have literally never ever been put in a situation where I've felt like there's competition or like I can't hang out with this one because this one said. And my mom gave me full control of how I choose to interact with whoever, whichever dad that is in my life. And I see the effort that they themselves put. When this one wants to see me, he makes it very intentional. When this one wants to see me, he does the same thing. When they want to talk to me, they can all call me. So there's never been any weirdness. And this is, sijui kama ni kuignoiana ama ni kurespectiana, but honestly, how they've handled it, amazing.
More life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, time imeisha. Conversation haijaisha. Time ndio imeisha. This conversation can go on and on and on and on. But what we have done is that we have started it because it was needed to. This thing needs to be started. Clearly, I didn't know that Gina and Roberta would relate to this conversation that much.
That deep.
You know, that tells you, come imagine out of 2 ladies that I'm with here are in that situation. So wale wengine wako nje, if we are to use this as the ratio, you know, so it means ndi conversation kwa hapo nje na kuna jamaa alikuwa ameandika hapo kitu amesema in all these situations make sure you don't dump the child, you know, be you the dad, be you the mom, just make sure you don't dump the child. All right, so wacha watu waseme social media handles zao love tumalize. Sawa sawa, otherwise tutaongea sana. DJ Rev, we start with you.
Yeah man, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, DJ Rev Don Dada. Yeah. And then just my last word is, as well, the same way nimesema mwanaume, when you're going for the DNA, be prepared for the results. Even for a lady, before you cheat, think about
Ni kama ku go through
outcome.
Think about the
We're ready.
Where mumeanza kwa let's say your social media handles.
Georgina Mbera on all social media handles. Lastly, just remember the adults, we are the captains of this ship. We're the ones who decide if it's going to sink or swim. Yeah.
More
Yeah.
life.
Roberta Bobby everywhere. You can follow my blog on loveandorgasms.com, my podcast as well. And nina kitu ya kusema really. Communication.
More life.
Tupige tuonge, tupendane.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wadau mimi nao nikiwaacha, I must rock your boat. Originally in Africa, a lady was allowed to have a kid outside.
Yes.
Yes,
Sawa, originally.
Yes.
But we are no longer there. Dunia imebadilika. Tupatane kesho. Tutakuwa tuna demystify mambo ya dentistry na dental formulas and wall partings. Kwa daktari wangu kesho. Sawa. Facebook, follow me Shutterboy. Instagram Shatter_boy. Twitter Shatter Tikitaka. Na YouTube Shutterboy Steve Jacob Maunda. Also follow Willis Raburu everywhere. Ausio, thank you for your time. Keep it locked on Citizen TV. More life.